Coming up right now, the bizarre reason why one mom wants to have a fourth child. We've uncovered new details about her husband's strange bonding experience.
Also coming up, a FedEx driver is fired after the president of UFC catches him throwing packages, not punches, inside his delivery truck.
And later, the captain of a cruise ship sends a letter to all of his passengers, the warning he shared about a popular tourist destination. And no, I had nothing to do with it.
No, he didn't. Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I'm Matt Doolittle. Mitch English will be joining us later. He's off petting a goat or something. Anyway, welcome to Daily Flash.
Did you hear about this kidnapped guy that's been missing for 27 years?
No.
And they found him next door
What?
at his neighbor's house within 100 feet. He disappeared at the age of 17. He's been missing for nearly 30 years.
Yeah.
Apparently, the suspect involved in this, his brother and him got into a fight over inheritance. So the brother of the suspect turned him in and said, you know that guy that's been missing for 30 years and presumed dead? He's downstairs in the basement below the cellar covered in hay. And that's where he's been for the last 30 years.
Whoa, this is a movie
Isn't
ready
that
to have.
crazy?
That's
Right.
insane.
No, nearly. And what's also strange is the brother of the victim said shortly after his brother disappeared, the family dog would go and sit outside of that house. And they couldn't ever figure out why. And then one day the dog just disappeared.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm guessing clearly the dog knew the brother was being kept in that house.
Wow, that is some shady stuff and some
crazy?
horrible detective work going on around there too. When they just go knock on there, like, hey, the dog's sitting here. Maybe we look into this.
Well, if he's hidden, miles below the house in the cellar and covered in hay, I guess the guy, the suspect lived alone.
Yeah.
Shocker.
You think?
Kept to himself.
Yeah.
Another shocker. This all happened in Algeria.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So maybe it's a little easier to get away with that stuff over there.
So
but-
no, yeah, because initially the thought was, well, he was killed in some sort of war that was happening at the time. But no, they weren't suspecting that he was kidnapped by his neighbor.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, at least you got to avoid a lot of stupid stuff that went on in the world for 30 years.
Yeah, yes and no. And then you have to wonder, what the effect of being trapped in someone's basement for 30 years
He's not going to be
is.
right.
A Florida woman says she has bonded with her husband over something very unexpected, breastfeeding.
Florida, man.
The couple says they were talking about having a fourth child as a way to further this bond. However, she does admit it might be time to find something else the two can bond over together. She insists that breastfeeding was never a sexual thing for her and her husband. They did it because it was an amazing way for them to share something special as a couple.
Okay, well, good for them. My wife and I bond over Disney and Netflix and South Park. So, that's kind of what we got going on. That is weird.
It's a little strange. And then my question is, if that is your thing, is it something that you really want to share with the world?
Again, it's influencer. They
part
want
of
clicks.
oversharing?
It's a thing. Maybe it's a group. I mean, there's
Maybe
furries
it's
for
a
everybody, right? All right, well, a FedEx delivery driver has been fired after UFC President Dana White caught him on camera throwing more than a dozen packages into his truck. White was being driven around the Big Apple when his chauffeur stopped near the driver, who was shooting boxes into the back of the truck as if they were short jump shots. Kobe! After White's video went viral, FedEx issued a statement saying that the behavior depicted is inconsistent with the professionalism the company expects. FedEx says they are committed to treating customers' packages with the utmost care and that the driver is no longer employed with the company. White's massive Instagram account includes more than 9 million followers. I mean, you're going to get recorded one way or another. There's a camera everywhere.
Yeah.
Just assume that anymore.
I gotta tell you that guy's technique is pretty impressive.
Good shot. Good follow-through
really
right
good
there.
follow-through.
Keep it on the elbow, man. He's going to a pickup game at LA Fitness after he gets off his shift.
I was gonna say the Knicks might be looking for someone new after their disappointing loss in the semifinals.
I'm sure you're happy about that. But yeah, I mean, you just got to know that you're getting watched, and you see these on the Ring doorbells.
Yes.
That you'll see the guys just throw stuff. I have specific delivery instructions on a lot of my stuff because I have a lot of electronics delivered. Every once in a while, those get ignored.
Yeah.
And there's like a sign on the door, leave it here so that it's by my camera. And I can't. So I think it's either the guy's just bored, fed up with his job.
Yeah.
Maybe he just had a fight with his wife over the thing they're bonding over before he went to work.
Possible. Not the thing the other couple was
Yeah,
bonding over.
I mean, maybe that's why he wanted some bonding time, and she didn't give it to him.
Or maybe he was practicing a shot, and he was like, he had a chance to maybe, try out for a specific NBA team.
I hope it's not bad for all delivery drivers, because you do see those like sweet stories every once in a while where they're helping out with people. But I mean, it is a tough job.
Do you remember the time, and I don't know if Amazon still does this, but they offered a program where you could allow your delivery driver inside your home to leave packages?
I saw that, and they used to do that. Walmart was doing that for a while, where they'd stock your fridge up too if you ordered it. I don't want that. I don't need them in my house. I don't need them sniffing around stuff. I'm good with that.
There's just so many ways that could go south.
Way wrong.
Yeah.
They walk in on you in a compromising position. You're like, whoa, hey, you want to pick up this package while you're at it?
Or you come home and your house is completely cleared out.
Exactly.
Yeah. A cruise ship captain took the time to pen an urgent warning to passengers when the ship docked in Mexico. An image of the letter reads, as you get ready for our visit to Ensenada, we have an important advisory. You may encounter restaurants or attractions not associated with the cruise line's excursion program that allows you to touch or interact with tiger cubs. For public health and safety reasons, Carnival recommends that you do not partake in any of these interactions. Dozens of animal welfare groups across the globe have spoken out against these kinds of random seaport attractions. And Matt, you just got back from a cruise celebrating your honeymoon.
Yeah, and I worked for Disney Cruise Line for a bit, so I know how kind of these excursions go and everything. And they really encourage you not to book anything off of the cruise ship's itinerary, because you're kind of taking a risk there.
Yes.
There was a story a few years ago where a man died because he got electrocuted on an excursion that wasn't booked through the cruise line, and the cruise line's like, you deal with them, not our fault.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong, say your boat breaks down if you're out on one, the cruise ship's not going to wait for you. And with these, we had warnings coming back that I've never seen before. We weren't allowed to bring seashells back.
Oh, interesting.
It was no alcohol, no tobacco, no food or drinks, and it was no seashells. And I was like, well, it's probably because they worried there were animals living in the seashells that when she got on there, because they were really strict about that stuff.
And how do they check? Do you go through security?
X-ray machine. There were a couple ports we had to go through the countries, because we did 10 days of Greece, so we were at a bunch of different countries and ports. Some of them had 2 X-rays we had to go through, the countries and then the Virgin Cruise Line one, and then some of them it was just Virgin. I don't think anybody got flagged on it, but I mean, I could see why they don't want you going out there touching these animals. Yeah. If they bite you or something, it's on you, and good luck trying to sue a company on the other side of the world or something when they're like, sorry, good luck finding our papers.
And then the bigger question is, what happens to these tiger cubs once they're no longer cubs?
Yeah, and what do? Bring them home, let them go in Miami like everybody else does?
After nearly 9 years of marriage, housewife Dora Kemsley and Paul P.K. Kemsley have announced their decision to separate. The 47-year-old Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star and the 56-year-old English businessman revealed they had parted ways on Instagram. The couple tied the knot in March of 2015, shared 2 children together. The news of their separation comes after they denied rumors they were spending time apart. In season 13 of the Beverly Hills Housewives series, the couple discussed problems in their marriage. Their issues included PTSD from a 2021 home invasion to constantly traveling for work. During the show's reunion episode in March, Dora claimed that the two were trying to turn things around. No word yet if their split will play out on camera, since Bravo has yet to confirm Dora's return for the new season. I guess the question is, why do these relationships always seem to go south on all of these reality shows?
Because you're putting your life out there. I've even got problems with this with some of the vloggers I follow that do like travel series with their families, and they're showing their kids and their wife and everybody on their vacation, constantly recording it and editing it. When you've got, a camera crew following you and you're going through stuff where you're like, I just need to have a discussion with the wife, where they're like, well, you signed this, so we're going to air this fight you just had.
Yeah.
And stuff you want to keep quiet. And you go out, you can't go to dinner without getting harassed by people. Your life just gets picked apart. People start going through all of your old history, and this comes up and this one sues you. I just don't think, I would never go into one of these shows. Like, it just doesn't, it never ends well.
Plus, I think the producers of these shows want that kind of drama.
Yeah.
They want you to have some sort of meltdown in your relationship, because that makes for good television,
Well,
right?
they don't want to show you sitting at home with your wife watching TV or like
having a good time and
scrolling
enjoying each
around on
other's
your
company.
scrolling around on your phone, or if it's at my house, it's me playing with the cat while my wife's over there, on her social media. Like, that's what we do all the time.
Yeah.
These things never end well. We've seen it. I think the only marriage that stuck through a reality show was the Osbournes, And they even had
Yes,
their
they
problems.
even-
Jessica
yep.
Simpson and Nicholas Shea fell apart. Look at all the Kardashians.
Yes.
Reggie Bush said it was one of the worst things he ever did was
I
being
can see
involved in
that.
that back in
Yeah.
the day. It is Lamar Odom, like that stuff never ends well.
Well, even with the Bachelor, Bachelorette, I think Ryan and Tristan,
that's not my cup of tea.
Tristy, whatever their names
Yeah.
are, like they were from the one of the earliest episodes. I think they're still together, but really, I think that's the only couple that's
Yeah.
made it work out of all of those seasons of The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
And they don't even make that much money from the shows, from what I understand. And it's more of a publicity thing to push their brand outside of it.
Right.
And you're really destroying life. Like, if I'm their kids, I'm like, I don't want you going on there, Mom.
I think
Like,
that's a great point.
don't
right?
do that.
Yeah.
But you
Let
know
us
what you
know
should
what you
do?
think.
Stay here on Daily Flash.
Yes. Head to our website too. Don't miss out. Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson, along with Mitch English and Matt Doolittle. It is time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get flashed. Today, it's a double shot, no chaser. One viewer asks if he should get flashed for making his daughter tell the family she's not graduating from college. But wait, there's more. He's also making her pay back all the money he spent on rentals for the graduation party. Turns out they had been planning for her graduation for months, and 4 months into the semester, she knew she wasn't graduating. She failed a class she needed to graduate and didn't bother telling anyone. So, should our viewer get flashed or be hailed as a hero for not letting her get away with what he considers deception? Get flashed is when we give each host 15 seconds to respond. Mitch, I'm going to start with you. The clock starts now.
Okay, first off, I know anybody who starts college, you totally change your majors. I don't know how many times, first off, because you don't know what you do. If you don't know what you're going into, you're probably going to run into this. But then to make her pay for it all is a little bit, I would say maybe a little over helicopter parents, if you will, because you did allow her to be herself, so you were okay with that. And if you want her to be herself, then why wouldn't you just let her quit school altogether?
Okay, that's Mitch's point of view.
right.
Matt, we're going to you in the back room. What say you?
As someone who just had to pay for a bunch of big party stuff, I think it's a little bad, especially if she knew 4 months out that she wasn't going to graduate. So she knew this party was getting planned. Now, if it was a complete surprise, that may be a little different. But if she knew about it, she should have said something from the beginning and be like, hey, let's not put all the final deposits down and spend the money on all the food and getting people to fly in from wherever, because that's a big problem right there. I think she should definitely have to pay back some of it at least.
I say, why are you spending so much money on this party? Why wouldn't you put that money into some sort of an account where it can gain interest?
go.
And that way, if she graduates, great, maybe you set a little aside for a party. If she doesn't, then you've got that money in the bank, maybe accruing interest, maybe saving it for a later date. I think he's right to say, look, no party, you owe us, you should have been honest. It's hard, but there are boundaries in life, and this is a tough lesson for her to learn. Okay, we said this would be a double shot, so here we go. Another viewer of ours asks if she should get flashed for ignoring her husband's request to stop hanging out with her friend. Here's the backstory. Her friend's going through a contentious divorce, and the soon-to-be ex-husband is still living in the house. They've got 3 kids. She's the godmother to one of them, so she feels compelled to be there for her friend. Her husband says he's getting tired of her spending all her time with them and not with him. He says he barely sees her. So, should our viewer get flashed or continue to help her friend? Mitch, we'll go to you.
Okay, wow. Divorce is, first off, it's never going to be pretty whatsoever. And I think people forget about you also get divorced from friends sometimes too, because there's a little bit of like, oh, you're taking their side, that sort of thing. But also too, when it comes down, this person was a god parent to one of their kids, so there has to be some kind of closeness.
Okay, Matt, in the back room, let's hear from you. Recently married, you must have some good perspective on this one.
Yeah, I get the lack of wanting to spend attention, especially if there's stuff going on in their house that needs attention, if they've got their own kids, if there's some stuff that maybe she's, usually takes care of as far as the house duties and everything. I'm not saying she, it has to be the maid in there, but if there's some of that stuff and it's getting dumped on him, I think I could see why he's like, hey, look, we've got our own family here we're trying to keep together. Maybe you should spend a little more time over here.
Yeah, I think it's all about boundaries. I mean, clearly it's important to be there for a friend, but your relationship is just as important, because if you don't get it together, there's a chance you're heading to D-Town. And is your friend going to be there for you if your husband decides to get divorced? Will that friend be there for you as long as you, or as much as you've been there for her? So there's a definite interest in taking care of what's at home first. Well, let us know what you think. Email us your thoughts. Head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. There you can leave us comments, get involved, let us know what you think. We might share your comments on the air. Mitch?
All right. And then there is this. This is kind of cool. A Scottish woman was actually making her community just a little bit better. She found a message in the bottle that was sent by school kids way back in 1984.
Ooh.
Jenny Smith said that she was filling bags with trash along the beach line when she found a bottle with something colorful inside. She opened it up and discovered it was a hand-drawn map. There was also 3 little messages written by 8-year-old students who attended a nearby primary school way back in 1984. Smith was able to actually contact that note's author as well as the other 2 girls. They said that the message in the bottle was actually part of a school assignment when they were learning about pirates. Now, what's even a bigger treasure? Those 3 girls actually turned into women and are all still very close friends. Yeah, in the ensuing decades since they wrote the letter, so it can kind of stick around for that long. So there's that. I think, it's fun for people. The only thing that they were disappointed about was when they threw it out, it was only found about 6 miles away from where it was actually found. They really thought it was going to go further out, but you throw something out and the waves come in, it's going to come back in. I guess it was maybe it's found somewhere on the beach and just never saw it.
I'm just surprised at how well preserved it is.
Yeah, wasn't it cool with the colors?
The drawings and the writing. Did you ever do a time capsule in
high
school, junior high?
In elementary school.
Yeah.
You know what was even weirder about that, Jackson? Is that I remember they built this brand new school over here in Orlando, and we got to go to it. I remember they made it the time capsule and everything. And I came back not even, that was, it had been less than 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And they already tore down the building and built a new one.
Are you serious?
And I was like, that's a 30-year-old building is not very old, right?
No,
and you would think that, because I remember the school prior to that was this old, rundown school, maybe made back in the 1900s and everything.
Gosh.
And so I was a little disappointed about that. So when you said that, that sparked a memory, and I can still remember today we put stuff. I can't remember what it was, but I remember us making a time capsule.
Did they dig up the time capsule after
If they did, I wasn't around because I came back and the building was gone, and they built another one at a different place. I was really upset about that.
Wow.
Only after 30 years. Can you believe that?
Shocking.
I tell you what, we will be back for sure. You can count on that right after this quick commercial break. Don't you go anywhere.
In this week's Boss Lady, we take a deeper dive into Women's History Month with a few women who are not as well known: a secret agent, an ancient queen, and a legendary superwoman known as Moses. Here's a list of the top 6 women history makers from our friends at Miss Mojo.
Number 6, Nancy Wake. Secret agent, saboteur, resistance fighter. Nancy Wake was all 3. When the Nazis invaded France in World War II, Wake was instrumental in getting people out of the country and later served as a courier for the French resistance. Wanted by the Gestapo, who nicknamed her the White Mouse, she fled France in 1943, but parachuted back in a year later to lead a group of over 7,000 resistance fighters. Wake wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty in the line of duty, once killing a sentry with her bare hands. She led her fighters to numerous victories, even defeating a German army 22,000 strong. In fact, Wake survived the war and went on to publish a best-selling autobiography about her experiences. Number 5, Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was a birth control advocate and sex educator at a time in which America's Comstock laws banned the distribution of obscene literature and articles of immoral use by mail. Despite this, Sanger launched a newsletter, The Woman Rebel, to promote contraception. Its slogan, "No gods, no masters." After opening the U.S.'s first birth control clinic in 1916, she was thrown in jail. When a judge promised her a reduced sentence in exchange for respecting the law, she basically told him to shove it. Despite her conviction, the trial was instrumental in raising awareness for her cause. She went on to found what eventually became the Planned Parenthood Federation of America and is credited with popularizing the term birth control. Number 4. Boudica. We're going way, way back for this entry. Boudica lived in the 1st century AD, a time of great upheaval in ancient Britain. The Roman Empire occupied the region, but had struck a deal with Boudica's husband, King Prasutagus, to respect his tribe's nominal independence. When he died, however, the Romans ignored his will, flogged Boudica, and raped her daughters. In response, the Celtic queen revolted, sacking cities and driving the Romans out of Londinium, also known as London. Her efforts almost pushed the Romans out of Britain, but after regrouping, they managed to retake the city. Boudica killed herself to avoid capture or died of illness, but anyone brave enough to stand up to the Roman Empire is a badass in our books. Number 3. Harriet Tubman. It takes a special kind of person to escape a horrible situation, then willingly return to rescue others. Harriet Tubman was just such a woman. Born in 1822, she escaped from slavery in 1849, determined to have, in her own words, quote, liberty or death. But she returned soon afterwards to free the rest of her family. Using the Underground Railroad, a network of safe houses and secret roads, she helped dozens of slaves escape to the northern US and Canada, earning her the nickname Moses. When the Civil War broke out, she worked for the Union Army as cook, nurse, spy, and scout, and later devoted herself to the women's suffrage movement. Talk about a life lived to the fullest. Number 2. Alice Paul. A disciple of Emmeline Pankhurst, who worked tirelessly to win British women the right to vote, Alice Paul helped American women do the same. In 1916, the suffragist formed the National Woman's Party, campaigning for an amendment to the Constitution that would guarantee women voting rights. The following year, she and a group known as the Silent Sentinels started picketing outside the White House to protest President Woodrow Wilson's refusal to support the amendment. They were yelled at, beaten, and many arrested. Paul herself was sent to a prison psychiatric ward, where she was force-fed raw eggs through a feeding tube. Once released, she fought on, and in 1920, at last, American women were given the vote. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Number 1. Joan of Arc. A legendary leader whose life at times seemed more historical fiction than fact, Joan of Arc defied social norms to become one of history's unlikeliest heroes. Born to French peasants in the 15th century, she managed to convince King Charles VII that she should lead the French army, claiming she'd been sent by a higher power. While initially nobles and military commanders scoffed at her counsel, her leadership brought an end to the Siege of Orleans, turning the tide of the 100 Years' War. Sadly, the following year, she was captured by the English, who charged her with heresy, witchcraft, and cross-dressing and burned her at the stake. Today, she's revered as a saint and remains an iconic symbol of courage and audacity.
If you are a boss lady or you know one you think should be featured on our show, please drop me a line, Andrea@dailyflashshow.com. And if you've missed any part of Boss Lady, head to our website, dailyflashshow.com. Once you're there, look for the tab that says Boss Lady, and you'll see this segment plus all the previous segments and the previous Boss Ladies we've featured on the show. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Matt Doolittle. Mitch English will be joining us in just a bit. So, I'm a cat guy.
Yes.
My cat has his own Instagram. Follow
Matt loves his cat.
Bizkit the Kiki. And on our trip, my wife wouldn't stop petting every single feral cat that came up to her, to which I said, hand sanitizer. That one's sneezing. Don't touch it. But anyway, a college just put they gave the cat an honorary doctorate of literature at the Vermont State University Castleton campus is honoring the feline not for his mousing or napping, but for his friendliness. This cat just kind of hangs out by the front of the school, and everybody knows him. He comes by. They say it's the reason they even bestowed it, like, this cat's so friendly and everything, it gives the students a calming effect as they're going in to take their tests.
True.
They're saying that it's just so friendly. He lives with a family that is right next to the campus or whatever, but he comes out every day, greets the students. He's been doing it for years. They're like, we don't know where he comes from, or they know where he goes now, but they bestowed a doctorate on a cat.
That is so cute.
And hopefully he doesn't get in trouble and they have to take it away from him like some of the other celebrities in the world. So the cat better be good. A Florida woman says she has bonded with her husband over something very unexpected. We're doing this breastfeeding. The couple says they were talking about having a fourth child as a way to further the bond. However, she does admit it might be time to find something else the two can bond over. I don't know. Chess. She insists that breastfeeding was never a sexual thing for her and her husband. They did it because it was an amazing way for them to share something special as a couple. Get out of Disney. Get out. No, you're not allowed to be there. They're going to frown on that there, trust me.
I think finding something else to bond over might be their best option.
Do a puzzle. Golf? I don't know.
Miniature golf?
Miniature golf, yeah.
Checkers?
Find a TV show?
Netflix?
Yeah, Stranger
Binge
Things.
watch?
I don't know. How do you even come up with that? Like, what? Hey, babe, I got an idea. Most guys are going to get slapped for that.
Here's the other thing. I mean, I get that we're in this society where we feel the urge to share everything with everyone. I'm not sure that's something that probably needs to be shared with the world. Maybe that's something that you just keep between the two of you.
How do you figure that out? Hey, babe, let's try.
I don't know. A FedEx delivery driver has been fired after UFC President Dana White caught him on camera throwing more than a dozen packages into his truck. White was being driven around the Big Apple when his chauffeur stopped near the driver, who was shooting boxes into the back of his truck as if they were short jump shots. There you go. After White's video went viral, FedEx issued a statement saying that the behavior depicted was inconsistent with the professionalism the company expects. FedEx says they are committed to treating customers' packages with the utmost care and that this driver is no longer employed with the company.
Buckets.
White's massive Instagram page includes more than 9 million followers.
Dana White's one to throw rocks out of a glass house, though, with recording stuff. He got... Anyway.
It just proves, and it's a good reminder, that everything nowadays is caught on camera.
Yeah, I mean, we've all gotten those packages where it was like, well, what, did they run this over? Or did...
Seriously.
I get on Amazon all this. I have very specific instructions on my Amazon stuff.
Yeah.
We have a front porch. I'm like, please put it in the porch because if it's out there and I'm not home, this just happened and the sprinklers come on, it gets soaked. We just had a guy do that. And a lot of these drivers, I think they get timed so quick to go do stuff that they're just like, whatever, I just want to get out. Or they're just tired with their job and they don't care.
Right. Throw it down, take a picture of it, take off.
I mean, you totally Ace Ventura at all those packages. Remember the beginning where he's just kicking it down the hall?
Yeah. I get it. Like, you probably get into a groove and maybe that's just a really quick, easy way to get your truck packed and stacked.
Kobe.
Yeah, I know. Goodness. Well, a cruise ship captain took the time to pen an urgent warning to passengers when the ship docked in Mexico. An image of the letter reads, as you get ready for your visit to Ensenada, we have a very important advisory. You may encounter restaurants or attractions not associated with the cruise line, allowing you to touch or interact with tiger cubs. For public health and safety reasons, Carnival recommends that you do not partake in any of these interactions. Dozens of animal welfare groups across the globe have spoken out against these kinds of random seaport attractions.
Oh yeah, I mean, when we were on ours and my wife was putting together, she does the itineraries, I'm useless with that stuff. I was like, no, I want anything we're doing through the cruise ship, because if something happens, they're gonna leave you, or if it's an insurance thing, good luck suing anybody on the other side of the world.
You ain't getting nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So just don't pet the tigers, but you can pet us right here on Daily Flash. Stick around for a little more. The EPA has finalized new tailpipe emission standards for new cars built between 2027 and 2032. The regulation will require new vehicles sold in the U.S. to meet the most stringent emission standards in history. Joining us with more is Chet Thompson, President and CEO of AFPM. Chet, tell us about the EPA's new emission standards.
Well, these standards that were passed by the Biden administration back in March have the result of effectively banning the ability for people to buy new gas or diesel powered cars in just 8 short years. Now, certainly the EPA doesn't call it a ban, but they set emission standards so stringent that no gas powered car can meet the standards. This standard is frankly bad for consumers, it's bad for our economy, and really bad for our national security.
How will these new regulations impact existing vehicles?
Well, it doesn't impact cars that are already on the road, but the effect of this rule was already being felt in the sense that new gas cars are already more expensive, and that's because the electric vehicles has been widely reported right now are losing money. So the autos are trying to make up for some of those losses by pushing up the cost of new vehicles.
What's the potential downsides for consumers?
Well, the real big downside is consumers are going to have less choice on the types of automobiles that they can purchase. So, like I said, in 8 short years, it'll be effectively, really difficult for any person to buy a new car. So it's going to force people to buy electric cars. Those are more expensive. They don't fit everyone's lifestyle, and it's going to make everything more expensive.
What about stopping or slowing down these regulations?
Well, again, those are pretty big. It takes away consumer choice. Well, what we're finding is about 70% of all consumers that we've talked to and polled out there are, strongly opposed to these regulations because people don't like when their choices are taken away, particularly when it's taken away by the government.
Great. And where can we go for more information?
Well, the best course of action is for folks to get smart about this, and they can do that by going to don'tbanourcars.com. And policymakers need to hear from folks. There's still a chance for Congress to step in and stop this regulation from taking effect, but that's only going to happen if policymakers hear from their constituents and hear quickly.
All right, thanks for joining us, and we'll be sure to post this full interview on our website at dailyflashshow.com. In 2024, West Hollywood is quickly becoming the go-to travel hotspot. Here with some travel tips are experts Jeff Morris and Tom Keeley.
Well, West Hollywood has a lot in store for travelers coming to our city. This year is our 40th anniversary, and we're really excited because our city is always a fun place to be anytime, but especially this year as we're celebrating 40 years of cityhood. Look, we're a city that's only 2 square miles, very compact, right in the middle of Los Angeles. We've got, within that 2 square miles, we've got 20 different unique hotels, 300 restaurants, bars, nightclubs, shopping. So any type of LA experience you're looking for, whether it's celebrity spotting, whether it's fine dining, whether it's unique evening experiences, live music, etc., you can find all of that in West Hollywood.
And you'll find really interesting boutique shops and pop-up stores that happen only in West Hollywood. There's no malls in West Hollywood. It's all really interesting, kind of one-of-a-kind things that you're going to find there.
Go to visitwesthollywood.com. That's our official website. We've got a lot of great and relevant information for everything there is to do in the greater LA area.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment.
Okay, so you want me to cancel the Will and Jada Smith celebrity roast? Okay, will do.
You'll be entertained with intriguing, informative, and engaging guests. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun.
All right, I'm gonna pull a groin. Oh, that's not what broke.
Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment.
Sharing a car can create a major stress, even for the best relationships. Here to help pave the way for car-sharing couples is renowned marriage and family therapist Elizabeth Earnshaw, who is teaming up with Mazda to share the details of a new car compatibility survey. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So how can car sharing impact a relationship?
Anytime couples are sharing something together, there is room for conflict. Research shows that all couples have something called perpetual problems. These are differences in personality styles and preferences. And so, of course, we're going to have those with our cars as well. Mazda actually did a really interesting study recently that showed 1 in 4 couples have arguments about their cars every single month. And so clearly this is something that is on a lot of people's minds, but Mazda and their new CX-70 has tried to resolve some of these issues with new technology.
So how does this system work overall?
Yeah, so as soon as you get into the car, the system is going to know who you are, which is really great for anybody who's sharing the vehicle because it is going to adjust immediately to your preferences. So it's like your partner wasn't even in the car at all. And it has over 200 preferences that it can adjust to, which includes climate control, seat location, mirrors, all sorts of stuff so that you can easily share a car without conflict.
That sounds great, especially I don't need it because my wife's 5'2" and I'm 6'2", and when she borrows my car, it takes me 5 minutes to get the seat back. So that's great stuff there. Where can we go for more information?
For more information, you can visit MazdaUSA.com.
Fantastic, Elizabeth. Thank you for that, and we'll have this on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Springtime is one of the most popular times to start home renovations, especially when it comes to kitchens and bathrooms. Here with Moore's lifestyle editor, Joanne Butler. Hi, Joanne.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. Well, let's start in the bathroom. It's one of the most important rooms of the house because you're always there. And of course, you know, the resale value is mucho important here. First thing, you want to look at your toilets. You want to replace anything dated, inefficient, anything that guzzles water. This is a water saving model here I got to tell you about from Toto, just their Nexus One Piece. It actually has the EPA's WaterSense label. It looks great. It's eco-friendly. It can potentially save hundreds of gallons of water a month. Just amazing. Now, next, bidets. Now, bidets have become a huge home improvement trend, especially as people prioritize wellness and self-care and just look for ways to live cleaner and healthier. And thanks to Toto, anyone can have a spa-like sense of high-end luxury right in their own home without breaking the bank or calling a plumber, even better. They have an amazing line of bidet seats called washlets. Now, these let you transform any toilet into a luxury bidet. This is their top-of-the-line washlet plus S7A bidet seat. Here it's paired seamlessly with the Nexus toilet. Look at this. All of the cords, hoses, completely concealed. The Nexus Washlet Plus S7A. Just amazing bells and whistles here too. Look at this. Automatic open and close lid. Heated seat that can be warm just to your liking. Front and rear cleansing using warm aerated water. Gentle warm air drying, which also reduces the need for toilet paper. Everything from the temperature to water pressure can be customized by remote control. It has 4 presets, so everyone has their own personalized experience. Just amazing. This one actually also cleans itself and the bowl with electrolyzed water before and after you use it. Pulls in, breaks down odors in the bowl. So the bowl, the air around it, all fresh, clean, just amazing. And if you don't need a new toilet, you can buy the washlet alone. Super easy to install onto your existing toilet. Takes less than 20 minutes. Just need an electrical outlet within 3 feet. And there's a Toto app to guide you if you need it. There's a washlet to fit every budget too. Just check out their website. It's amazing, TotoUSA.com, or follow this QR code to learn where you can get one near you. Now, let's talk more DIY. A fresh coat of paint is just an easy, inexpensive way to update your home. But to do it really like a pro, you need the right tools. And the best paint jobs start with this. It's Scotch Painter's Tape, Scotch Blue, and Scotch Brands. They just have a full line of adhesives specifically designed for the different demands of every type of paint project, you know, just giving you confidence to effectively get the job done right the very first time. First, the Scotch Blue Sharp Lines Painter's Tape. Now, this is for when you need to make a really precise, clean line. It uses this special edge lock technology that literally seals out the paint to just help you get a crisp line. Then there's the Delicate Surface Tape. This is for accent walls and decorative stripes or fun patterns, and you can use it on painted drywall, wood floors, wallpaper, even cabinets. And you know, most people don't realize that instead of replacing your cabinets altogether, which can be super costly, big job, you can just repaint them and make them look new again. They have a great website too, scotchblue.com. There are a bunch of great tips on there telling you which products are best for which projects, where to buy them, and how to use them. And now, of course, when it comes to paint colors, the Pantone 2024 color of the year is called Peach Fuzz. So just have some fun with this pretty peach. Also, Sherwin-Williams color of the year is called Upward, and this beautiful blue color. And there you have it, the must-have trends when it comes to DIY home design right now.
It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and here's what you need to know.
Many people struggle to reach out for help when it comes to their mental well-being. Here to discuss the importance of mental health is Dr. James Polo with Carillon Behavioral Health.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a great time to prioritize our mental well-being and engage in those conversations about mental health. One of the best ways to reduce stigma is just to talk about it openly with others. Encourage them to do the same. We all struggle from time to time.
Even though mental illnesses are common, many individuals avoid seeking treatment due to the perceived shame in getting help.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, only half of the American adults that are struggling with mental illness actually get services and treatment. We must continue to destigmatize mental health and guide those that are struggling to life-saving support and resources.
To find more information, including mental health resources, visit CarolonBehavioralHealth.com. That's CarolonBehavioralHealth.com.
What are the latest food and restaurant trends you'll see this year? We're joining us from the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago, the most influential event in the food service industry. Our restaurant industry experts, Christine Johnson and Caitlin Rogers. Thanks for joining us.
Well, this show is huge. We've welcomed over 56,000 food service professionals who've been able to explore over 12 football fields of exhibit space, featuring over 2,400 exhibitors that cross the gambit of food service in food, beverage, technology, equipment, and so much more. There really is something for everyone. But we know this show is truly where restaurant ideas are born. So Christine and I got to go out on the show floor to find those great ideas, and we're going to share with those with you today. We're looking at some flavorful experiences as well as tech-driven conveniences, and we're happy to share those with you.
The restaurants are really looking for that extra special something that's going to help them stand out, whether that's through global flavors, playful plating, or healthy options.
Please visit us at nationalrestaurantshow.com.
Check in and have a quick look at the lifestyles of rich and famous as we dive into celebrity real estate.
Okay, so let's start with what the Guinness World Records book considers the most expensive private home in the world. The Ambani's house requires a staff of 600, has 3 helipads, and features a movie theater that can seat up to 50 guests. Dubbed Antalya, the name of a mythical island off the coast of Europe, the interior of the home has rarely been photographed. The owner, Mukesh Ambani, is the chairman of an energy retail and media company and is considered India's richest man. The 400,000 square foot home is officially 27 stories high, although with the ceiling height on some floors, it's closer to a 40-story building in size. The house cost around $1 billion to build. The tower also includes a full-service spa and health club. The lobby has 9 elevators, and the garage can fit 168 cars.
It's just when you have so much money, right? I mean, and then 4 helipads, that's outrageous. All right, quarterback Russell Wilson and his wife Sierra are actually trying to sell their $25 million Denver mansion after Wilson was recently cut by the Broncos. The couple has also been trying to sell their other home in Washington State. It hit the market for $36 million back in spring 2022. And that's when Wilson was traded from Seattle to Denver in a blockbuster 5-year, $242 million deal. Wilson and Sierra's property in Bellevue has decreased in value about $10 million since it was first listed. The Seattle residence sits on 2 acres and has 6 bedrooms, 7 baths. Wilson and Sierra are now accepting offers on their Denver home as the couple now prepare to move to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
They paid $25 million for the home back in April of 22, and the Denver property has 4 bedrooms, 12 baths. It also features his and hers walk-in closets, offices, and bathroom suites. The home also includes an indoor swimming pool, a basketball court, and its guest apartment with its own kitchen.
So we'll find out what he buys in Pittsburgh
Let's
when
see.
they get moving there. Well, want to rent a home from a 1980s TV icon? Former Punky Brewster star Soleil Moon Frye is leasing out her modern property in Venice, California. The 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit is available for $15,000 a month. Wow. That seems a little steep. Keep in mind the place is just a block and a half from the ocean in Venice Beach. It includes 1,900 square feet of living space with 2 stories and wide open layouts. Downstairs, there's a great room with a fireplace and an open kitchen with high-end appliances. It looks spectacular.
That
Mitch.
looks really cool. I don't have 15 grand.
Me neither.
I do have a whole other show. Both of us do set up for you tomorrow, right?
Yes, absolutely. Join us then. Be good, everybody.